subscribe, 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 subscribe.
About 130 women were kept here for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. These are some of the original iron bars for 300 years. Yeah. You were getting rusted.
These were the original ones that were here.
Yeah, they were here. We just replaced them with wooden bars. If these bars were to be the original ones, the captives could have easily escaped. This wood here,
Is the original one?
yes, and the second one on this side. They are the two main original beams for the Dutch. Local red oak, the rest are new.
Yeah.
We have two different kinds of bricks here. Red bricks by the Portuguese. Yellow bricks by the Dutch from Holland. They brought them to balance their ships. In return, they went with the captives. There was a program held over here last 4 years, reenactment of the slave trade, an exhibition. People volunteered to sleep in this room for 1 night. They just wanted to experience how our ancestors went through.
Yeah.
And these are the clothes that they used for the program, just to demonstrate. Yeah, with the chains. Yeah.
Were they able to sleep?
No. We also spent the night here because we were giving the talk to them.
If they regretted at the middle of the night, would they get out?
Out? No. We close this place. Yeah. And looking at the size of the wall, the thickness of the wall, none of the captives escaped over here. Once you come, that's the end. Either you survive or you die. 3 out of 10 survived in this castle. Children were not counted as a person. They were just added to an adult and sold as one person. But the records over here, we are talking of 1,000 captives in every 3 months. In 1 year, we have about 4,000 captives. And the trade lasted almost 400 years. Those who died in their various forests were not counted. You can just... Has this historian, the hunter will always be hero. Until the lion has his historian, the hunter will always be hero. Please, anyone to explain for us?
Say that again, repeat, I didn't hear you.
Until the lion has his historian, the hunter will always be hero.
If I get yeah, the lion always doesn't have no one to
Yeah.
Doesn't even want to tell the lion.
narrate the story.
Yes, of course, yes. It also implies that history needs to do for the victim side. So until the lion has his story, the hunter will always be a hero. Most of the wizards we read from a version of the Europeans and so on. This is our own version of the history. We are now in the largest room for the female captives. About 150 women were kept here for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. Their stay over here depends on the arrival of the ships, how often the ships will come. Buckets were placed at various corners for them to ease themselves. Not all the captives were from Ghana. The mode of transportation, as at that time, was by foot. Those who made it here were very weak. During their second month of staying in their various dungeons, some of the captives could not even walk from the middle of the dungeon to where the buckets were placed. They have to do everything on the floor. Feces, urine, vomiting, blood, they slept in it. There were no mats for them. That's the original floor they slept on. All the big entrances were closed with metal gates. The air from the small doors was not enough for those at the back. That was the other source of ventilation, which was even connected to a magazine. They were keeping their guns, gunpowder, chemicals in that room. In case there was a leakage over the descent, we just moved straight here, polluted the air and killed them. For the dead ones, they were tied to stones. They were thrown into the sea. All these flowers at the back by the visitors for remembrance. We say in their souls rest.
Your souls.
Yeah. Of course, there is a stench in this room. The room is poorly ventilated, and we have used chemicals to clean this place to remove the scent. But don't forget, this is history. We have to maintain the origin to this place. Yeah. Reservoir. It covers the whole place over here, all around. Whenever it's rain, water passes through the pipes and gets inside for drinking, washing, bath, etc. by the Portuguese. When the Dutch came, they had their own reservoir because they were afraid. They thought it had been poisoned. We've done a research, it has not been poisoned, but now it's on sea.
It was a drinking water for the prisoners?
Yeah, please, those who just came. Initially, we said the Europeans never came along with their families. Some of the officers were sexually abusing the women here. The governor was down at the top to select one of them. Now, the one the governor has selected might have been in the dungeon for several months without washing down. They will get water from this well to take a bath in the middle of the courtyard before she made to pass through that side to the governor's bedroom. Let's have a look. This access leads to the governor's room. The format is the same, but the wooden aspects have been changed. When the ships had arrived, some of the women were likely seen to be pregnant. They were separated. Houses were built in the town for the pregnant ones. They would stay there to give birth. Later, the children were brought back to the castle to be educated as the new officers. And that was the beginning of the formal education over here from 1529. Their mothers, we call them lucky ones. They remain here as domestic servants to the castle, not as captives anymore. In 1637, the Dutch officers moved to the town. They customarily married the women over there, and they had children with them. Along the coastal zones, we have so many European names over here: Van Dyke, Van der Poel, De Heer, Duncan, Ferguson, and the light color skin, or the mixed blood Africans. It brought about disunity among the Africans and the Africans themselves. As a result of the color differences, people were looking down upon the fellow Africans. Indirectly, the Europeans intentionally divide, conquer, and rule. That was the integration that they created. In Ghana alone, about 40 to 50 forts and castles were built along the coastal zones. 17 of them are still existing. 3 of them are just World Heritage Sites. This castle, the white building on the hill, Fort Santiago, and Cape Coast Castle. There is a similar place in Senegal, the Gorée Island, Zanzibar in Tanzania, Fort Jesus in Kenya, Mombasa, Reader Fort in Benin, even 2 in Nigeria, Badagry and Calabar State. So that a lot in Ghana. We are moving to like this. They will open this access for the chosen one to come up. So please let me wait for you to see.
For the woman.
The woman, the governor.
The slave that he chose, the chosen lucky one. The chosen slave of the day.
You show us downstairs, the stairs?
Lucky girl.
The luckiness will set in.
If she gets pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you're not pregnant, I guess you go back.
They will not go to the dungeon.
No, back to the dungeon.
That's where the governor was down to select one of the women.
You show that actually.
He select from here. This one.
All the architectural design of the castle was done by the Dutch.
All the architectural
Design, expansion, and so on. Initially, the Portuguese came with 600 workers from Portugal. They employed some of the locals over here. It took them 2 years for them to raise the face of the castle. The castle was built in stages as a fort. Later, when they got the captives, that was the time they needed to do much expansion. Yeah.
They needed more space.
More space. Governor's kitchen.
Portuguese time.
Thank you.
business, if their motive, their interest was to gain much profits, economically, it's taking good care of them rather than allowing them to die and so on. Maybe the supply of the captives were more. It wasn't in scarcity. They never mind, because if they die, they will still get some. This access here, when the ships had arrived, the strong women, those who could survive through all that conditions, they were to pass here to the room of no return. From that place, they were taken outside. These bars were placed at recently just to prevent accidents. On this note, we are moving to the room of no return, which will come back. About 150 to 200 men were kept here. At the same time, a transit passage to the point of no return. The room at the back, it was just a store room for the branded equipment. Most of the captives were branded, hot metal, so the merchant names placed here on their forehead or at their back for identification. Many of them died to receive the shock. A slave to them was like a commodity, an asset to them, not as humans. Source of ventilation and lights. The two windows were done later. Slave exits to waiting booths. Please, with the first gate, you take a step down here, one step down. One step down. That's the nature of this room. Always dark. The woman came from the top and the men from that side. We just remove the steps. Whenever the reservoir is full, the water passes through, they do it. It just runs to the sea. Families were separated. This place could be the first time they're likely to see themselves, if not one of the partners is dead. We believe that in a place where so many souls have been lost, the spirit of us, as I said, they are still here. Sometimes the room is very heavy. We have some bottles at the corner over there. The chiefs and the elders never come over here to pour libation to pray for those who died. People trace their ancestral roots to this place. With the second gate, please, you burn very low.
Tutaj były schody, sprowadzali tę kobietę. Jest ciemne miejsce, żeby oni się nie rozpoznawali. Żeby się nie rozpoznawali, to nie
We are now in the room of no return. That's the gates of no return. It is no more. Through these gates, some of the captives were sent to Americas, West Indies, some part of Europe, for them to work in their various mines, plantations, and cotton farms. The gate was very wide. At the time of gold and the ivory, it was big.
Yeah.
When they changed the idea to human trade, they narrowed the gates to restrict movements. About 5 or 10 people were chained to each other. They were moving on a sideways, like this. The sea water was closer by then, and the ships will be at the shore before they will bring small boats to convey the captives into. Looking at the small size of the gates, staying here for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they will just lose weight.
Yeah.
They can easily pass through. Even though by the records, some of the captives refuse to eat. Yeah, unless we're committing suicide. All these flowers, the candles were sold by our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. There was a ceremony here today. That's where the candles, the wax. You can take a picture, please. Now it's a room of return.